guys, welcome to the podcast. I have a special guest on today, so I'll have him introduce himself. But Eric, go ahead and introduce yourself, and welcome and thank you for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it. Thank you for having me. My name is Erick Gadea, and you want me to just kind of tell about a little bit about myself, or?
Yeah. I'll ask you some questions, but I basically wanted to get Eric on because we both kind of have a similar background as far as we currently are doing bodybuilding, but basically we're coming off we were basically fat kids and then we lost a bunch of weight, right? So
Hmm.
I just kind of wanted to get you on, have you run through your story a little bit and how I guess you've transitioned into bodybuilding from, just being out of shape and losing all this weight and stuff like that, how the whole transition has gone for you, just since we kind of have a similar background. But I guess just lay out, like, how old you were when you started losing weight, how long you've been kind of within this fitness journey and all that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah, man, for sure. So, yeah, like Hunter said, I've been overweight basically my whole life. Like as far as I can remember, really, I've always been a fat kid. I was always like a homebody, kind of stay inside, video games type of dude. Never really kind of cared about exercise or just being outside. I would play like sports here and there, but it wasn't my thing, right? So I was basically from like I'd say elementary, no, probably even middle school. It's kind of when I really started to pick up the weight, gaining a lot of weight because I was inactive all the way, and that happened until like probably junior year of high school. I'd say it's when I kind of had an interest in it, and that was just because I had friends. So I went to a boarding school here in Minnesota. It's in Hutchinson. So there's not really much to do. So you can only watch Netflix for so long, right? And people typically to pass time they would exercise just because get better and stuff. Why not? So I would have a lot of friends. My friend group of guys, they would all exercise. They were pretty fit, and I still wasn't into it, but they would occasionally say, "Hey, you want to come and work out with us?" And I'd be like, not really my thing. I'd rather just hang out with you guys, catch up with you guys after or whatever. It just wasn't my thing. I didn't really care about it. And then after they obviously cared and they saw that I wasn't in shape. They kept on like insisting and like after a while I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. I'll give this fitness thing a try, I guess. So yeah, I started, I think it was either junior or sophomore year. I don't really remember exactly, but that's kind of when I started getting my feet wet into just weight training, doing home exercises. So my first, I guess, um, exercise thing was home training called Insanity, which is a crazy cardio home workout program of like 90 days, right? You lose a lot of weight and stuff. That's what they were doing because we don't know what we were doing back then. I mean, I didn't at least. I just kind of followed the screen and whatever the guy said, I did. So I just did that and I lost a good amount of weight for sure. But it was just mostly cardio, plyometrics, etc. Not really much resistance weight training and stuff like
Oh, okay.
lifting. So I did that, and then I lost a good amount of weight. And then after that, I actually noticed the results and actually kind of got a little bit more interested because I definitely knew there was, I can actually, make a change for myself because I always kind of was hopeless of, I'm the way I look and that's going to be it forever, right? I'm fat, oh well. That's kind of my mentality, what it was back then. But when I saw that happen and it changed, then that kind of gave me like a little light of motivation, you could say. And so yeah, after that I just started going uphill. I started after that I did P90X, which was a little bit more weights included, not just cardio based. And started seeing more good results with that. A little bit more toning, obviously because of the weights. And I started kind of with that, just home workouts like that. Before I ever got into a gym, like a membership. So that was junior or sophomore, junior, leading up to senior year of high school. So like 2013 is kind of when I started, and then I started to go up from then. And yeah, I just been kind of learning with the rolls and punches from then till now. I'd say I really started to get into weight training like myself, and like kind of learning about proper lifts probably not until college, like freshman year of college. It's kind of when I really started to kind of make like a program for myself, like bench press, deadlift, all that stuff, where I would actually get a gym membership and go and work out with some friends. And I would be the one actually reaching out for people saying, "Hey, do you want to go work out with me?" Because I was very new, so I kind of would prefer if I had a training partner that would kind of spot me or kind of fix my form, etc. and stuff. So I
Yeah.
was kind of the one doing the reaching out because actually, I was already falling in love with the sport and all that stuff because I definitely saw results from like the home workouts and just stuff like that. So that was 2015 up until now. So 5 years ago and all that stuff. 5 6 years ago is basically the biggest transition I'd say as far as my physique, as far as weight loss. I really started to drop the weight. So I started at 260, and I started to drop down every single year, slowly. And up until now, I'm about 174. So that's a total of 6 pounds and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
uh, yeah, man. So yeah, it's been a long time. I've been a long road. Definitely with trial. Everything was with trial and error. Because I didn't really hire a coach till probably my senior year of high school is when I really started to actually pick up the interest of bodybuilding and actually maybe competing, in something. Because I've always wanted to, but I never really thought I would be able to because obviously I was overweight and stuff. So yeah, I got a coach in the area. So I went to school in Nebraska, in Lincoln. I got
Okay.
a coach in the area. Kind of got some friends that recommended me to that coach, and we started in the fall of 2018. And I graduated in May 2019. So up until May, so like I'd say I think it was October 2018 up until like May 2019, I was working with like a bodybuilding prep coach. So that's when I kind of really started to see more results as far as weight loss because I would actually have a plan and for my meals and a plan for
Yeah.
training that I would have to follow, and certain supplements to take. So that's what I would say. I really saw the most drastic change because I actually had someone to guide me and stuff. So after I came back, then I looked up, another coach because obviously I left because he was a local coach and didn't want to do a long distance, and that I didn't want to do it either because since I was new, I would prefer to have a coach that was there in person that I
Did
could
you if you don't
talk
mind
to.
me interrupting, did you do like PT? Were you like in person or was it more online training?
Are you talking about me and him, like the coach?
Yeah, you're like first coach.
Yeah, so it was in person. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I would check in with him every week. I would go in, he would kind of take my measurements with using a skin caliper to see
Yep.
if I was going down and stuff. So yeah, it was in person, and I liked that because it was my first
Yeah.
experience and stuff. And yeah, I just didn't want to do online because I like the in person experience kind of stuff. So
It's really good in the beginning to learn
exactly.
the
Yep.
form and the technique of the exercises too.
Right. Yep. Yep. So yeah, and then after that, so that happened for a while, almost like basically the full school year, and I learned quite a bit. So I already after that, I had a good amount of knowledge,
Okay.
basically off of just training and just meals, meal timing, meal frequency, etc. All the in
Yeah.
and outs of bodybuilding and stuff. More contest focus, really, because that's what I wanted to do. That's when I really started to get oh, I actually see I'm gonna give this a shot to see if it's possible, right? And I still had quite a bit of fat, to be honest, when I started with him back in the fall. I remember because he used a spreadsheet to kind of track my weight and stuff. I was like at 218. That was
Wow.
218 pounds. So I was still pretty heavy. I was a lot lighter than 260, but I was still pretty heavy. I had quite a bit of body fat, I'd say. Definitely over like 20, 25 probably, I'd say. Probably 25%
Yeah.
better guess. But and yeah, so that happened, and then I came here, Minnesota, moved back May, late May of 2019, and then from then till I found a coach online, Brian. He just the one that kind of I started working with just because I searched just online or prep coaches in Minnesota. That's what I searched on Google, and there's a list of people that came out. I emailed all of them, and he's the first one that got back to me. So I was like, all right, let's see what happens here. I want to
Nice.
kind of pick up what I dropped off with the other coach as far as like prepping, that
Yeah.
transition. So yeah, so I started working with him last summer, um, and that was me at 218. Still, so then there isn't really any shows. I actually tried doing the Viking show, which is the bodybuilding show,
Last year. Yep.
last year, but
The Natural Viking.
huh?
Natural Viking, right? The OCB. Yep.
Yep, yep, the same show. I was actually trying to do that one, but there's no way I would have made it because I was just too fat. There's
Okay.
no would have been probably like a 1 year long, probably prep,
Yeah.
if not longer. I was very very like not even remotely close to being stage shape. So so I've been prepping for a while actually.
Okay.
Um, with diet breaks in between, but technically I've been dieting on prep for over like a year, like going on
Wow.
2 years now, with just like diet breaks in between. Um, and so I believe the Viking Natural Show is like the last show in Minnesota, I believe, and that was the one that I was going for. And I didn't
Yeah.
meet the timeline because of my physique, so I didn't do any shows from like last year when that happened till fast forward to this year. So I've been prepping this whole time with just breaks in between, kind of going up to maintenance calories, and then diet again, diet again, maintenance, just like that. So I'm not dieting straight through for like two
Yeah.
weeks, you know? So,
Um, like let's say maybe a year back when you started,
mhm.
aiming to compete, what were your calories and macros at compared to now?
Oh, yeah. So, oh God. So my macro. I'm just gonna go by macros because that's what I remember. So my macros when I started was because he was just still trying to get to know my body. He obviously didn't know. I was around 350 carb. I was still at like around my protein was pretty high. I was like at 230, 240 protein, and my fats were around 60. So I was getting a good amount of food. At least is what
It's
I
like
thought.
2,900 calories.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So that was basically my starting point, because that's what he believed based on my body structure,
Yep.
be a good starting point. Then obviously, if we've tapered, we've gone down. We typically, he has been manipulating carbs more than anything,
Yep.
as far as cutting down carbs as we gotten deeper and deeper. So it started from that until now. What is it? Under 3 weeks out, and right now I'm very very low calories, so I'm doing around 70 carb, 40 fat, and 230 protein. So
Yeah.
very low, about what 1600, 1700 calories.
Yep.
So
Around there. Yeah. Yeah. Or less. And yeah, we were kind of, so you've had little diet breaks in there, but you've basically been dieting now for how many years would you say?
from like
When you
from
first started?
like ever,
Yeah.
oh, uh, 8 or 9 years.
And how many out of those 8 years, how many like years, I guess, have you been actually like in a caloric deficit where you're slowly losing weight?
The whole time.
Okay.
Well, I assume because I was losing weight, so I had
Yeah.
to. Then.
Yeah.
I didn't know what that number was because I didn't know what tracking was. I didn't know what none of that was.
Okay. Yeah.
All I did was just honestly eat a little bit less and just move more. So
Yeah. So I
really,
guess I kind of wanted to bring up like what we were talking about in the gym the other day, where your calories are really low right now, most
mm-hmm.
likely just because your metabolism down regulates more and more and more as you keep dieting.
Right.
And until you actually get a good, maybe like 2 year off season where you can bring
Yeah.
your calories back up, but not necessarily bring your body fat up. And
Exactly.
then,
Yep.
say like 3 years from now, you'll be able to actually diet down to contest, stage leanness. Eventually you'll have to get pretty low in calories, but you'll be able to get a lot leaner on a lot more food after you kind of build up your metabolism.
Exactly.
So I would say like just making sure after this show, don't like plan on competing again next year or anything like that. Try to take a couple years off. And I think you said that you are there anyways. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
No, I definitely do because I definitely I I had an idea or I figured that obviously these are very low calories, typically not
yeah,
go for a male. This is more like a bikini
huh.
female off season. To be honest,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah,
calories, but it is what has to be done to get that fat off. Because I mean, if you think about it, I'm doing something that well maybe people have done it, but I'm doing something that a lot of people probably have not done. Is going from a
yeah.
40 plus percent body fat to sub whatever I am right now or will be in 3 weeks, from like very, very overweight, not even average, to like below average body
Yeah.
fat. It's shredded. It's like the highest peak to like the lowest peak of like conditioning.
You're going to from two extremes, basically. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's why it's taken me so long because I didn't start my prep at an average 15% body fat like the average
Yeah.
male. I started at even with the prep, even with the prep coach in Lincoln, I was still like, if I had to guess, probably like 25%. I was pretty big,
Okay.
218. It wasn't a lot of muscle. It was a good amount was fat, if I had to guess. So starting
Yeah.
prep at 25% body fat, that's gonna take you a while to get down to 7, 6%, whatever you want to get down to.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a long time.
And
So
what's your cardio at currently? Because you're how many weeks out are you currently? Like 2.5 or
yeah, so it's about 18 days, I believe.
18
So
days out? Okay.
it was 3 weeks. It was 3 weeks from Saturday, and it's Tuesday now. So
And Eric is doing the natural OCB Viking, and you're gonna be doing the novice bodybuilding class.
yeah, I'll be doing the novice, and then the debut. This will be my first one.
Oh, awesome. Okay. So
Yeah,
I will be so actually Eric and I are gonna be up on stage together in the novice class, so that'll be fun.
yeah,
Um but yeah, like how much I guess what's your like step count at? What's your cardio at right now? And
yes. So my cardio, I'm doing 1 hour,
okay.
5 days a week. Either typically incline treadmill or stairmaster.
Yeah, I seen that. That's brutal. 1 hour of
It's very
Stairmaster?
brutal, yeah. Not fun. But and then my step count, it's pretty high to be honest. It's around 18,000, 18 to 19,000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, very, very slow. Here's the reason why. I don't have a regular 9 to 5 job right now because I'm a personal trainer, so my hours are very, very limited. I do my own training. So obviously with this whole pandemic, I'm not busy. My mind's not busy, 8 hours of the day, straight. So as I'm at home for a good amount of time, so what I do is, if I'm in the house, obviously I'm starving. I'm gonna eat. So if I don't have any work for that time, instead of sitting here, I'm gonna go outside and get my steps in because
Yeah.
one, I'm increasing my needs, so I'm burning more fat, and I'm not going at a high speed. It's just a very casual leisure walk, very slow pace, but it's just for me to not be in the house surrounded by food. That's the only reason, honestly, why I feel like my step count is so high, because every time that I'm done with my meal, and if I don't have work to do, I'm gonna go walk or I'm gonna be outside away from food because I'm going to eat.
Yeah, yeah.
So that has, at the end of the day, that just adds up to a lot of steps, and that actually has allowed me to still lose weight with me being a little bit more, I'd say, flexible with like my macros or maybe my refeeds.
Okay.
Because sometimes I definitely know I'll go over, like I'll forget to track something, for example, or I mean, honestly, here definitely I wouldn't say I've binged, but I definitely have got over my macros a lot of times, especially for my refeeds, just because I don't think of I'll track after it, but I already had the food. I'm like, oh wait, damn, I went over my
Oh,
my
gotcha.
carbs for my refeed, but because of my NEAT being so high, that compensates for my surplus of carbs or whatever. I'm still able to lose weight, so it's almost a
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you primarily I know you have your own coaching business, right?
Hmm.
Are you primarily online coaching or in person?
I'm pushing online more just because the pandemic. I
Yeah.
thought that was the best scenario for me and for the people that actually had had interest in me training them.
Yeah.
I do both. I'm open to both. But as of now, most people don't want to meet in person still. That's what I found. Some that do, I'll still do in-person training.
What do
Um,
you usually what gym do you train out of?
um, I'll either go to Lifetime
Okay.
or I'll do in-home training. So it's been very nice because a lot of the people that I train have live in an apartment complex, so they have a home gym, or I
Yeah,
guess it's
yeah.
apartment. So I'll just literally go there and I'll train them. So I haven't had
Nice.
to get like a studio for myself, or maybe they have a membership where they can allow a guest pass or a limited guest passes, and I can just go train them at their own gym, whatever that gym is.
Yeah.
So I've been kind of all over the place and stuff. So I don't have a lot of in-person clients right now. I probably have I have a couple and then two other people. And then all the rest are like 5 people online. So I don't have a lot of clients right now because a lot of them kind of stopped or at least froze their training with me because of the pandemic due to
Okay.
finance, whatever. But it's starting to pick up again. So
Nice. And then
yeah.
you're a YouTuber as well. How long have you been doing the YouTube?
Yeah, so I started October last year.
Okay.
So it's almost a year. Yeah, it will be a year probably tomorrow. Yeah.
What
So
what is what's been the biggest thing for you to like grow your following on Instagram and Instagram and like YouTube and all the social medias kind of like you have?
like, like the hardest thing or
What's I guess what's been like really how have you kind of grown your following and how do you I
yeah,
guess
yeah. So for Instagram, basically I just started everything that I do that I've grown, I guess,
uh-huh.
I've done through research of my own and on YouTube. So I literally just searched up. I had the idea of wanting to take fitness pretty seriously and maybe
Yeah.
potentially, I wanted to find a way to get my name out there and started to get noticed. So you have to have, presence in social media. That's the only way, especially nowadays with
Yeah.
online. Everything is online. So you have to grow Instagram, or you have to grow a YouTube channel if you have one, stuff, etc. So I started with Instagram last year, finding ways to grow it. So I would search up on YouTube how to grow Instagram, just watch videos, tips from different creators. I would kind of take things that I kind of liked and I would apply it to my account. Um, and I just started doing those tips, and it's grown over time and stuff. Um, Now the algorithm has changed a lot, so there's typically, each platform has an algorithm, basically an AI, right?
Okay.
How it works and stuff.
Mhm.
So we always have to be kind of keeping up with the algorithm depending on what platform. So for Instagram, a lot of things have changed, so you always have to be kind of updated with the new features that they release, and then kind of use that to increase your engagement, etc. Because when features and those things come up, the algorithm changes, people's engagement typically drops because they want the users, to use the features, or maybe they're experimenting with other stuff. So there's been a fluctuation of engagement from like last year when I started till now, of like going down, going up, going down like this,
Okay.
because you have to kind of be constantly having your eyes open, being okay, come up with new content, because people will eventually get tired of you just posting pictures of yourself, static pictures, maybe go for a carousel, maybe more like a video, something different. So
Yeah.
just trying different things like that has allowed me to kind of, grow, and just kind of seeing what other people do. I follow a lot of people in my niche and kind of see what they do and kind of take things that I like from them and kind of make it into my own, put my own twist on it. So I just been doing that, just still researching, because I obviously still don't know. I didn't go to school for marketing or social media and stuff. So
Okay.
everything is learned by myself. And YouTube, same thing. I just learned how to grow a YouTube channel, how to, tips for small creators, etc. All those keywords you can come up with. I started it because I figured that it would only help me get my name out, get noticed. Obviously, because it's another platform and it's video, which is, I feel like, you get a stronger connection with the audience instead of just static pictures on Instagram and
Yeah.
so on. So I feel like video content is better, in my opinion. Um, so I just started it, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Just I knew I wanted to do something fitness related, but I wasn't sure exactly what. So I just kind of started putting out videos. I started with kind of just weight loss tips and stuff, just things that have helped me. Like, and then I started just putting up videos like that, just meal recipes or how to lose weight, quicker or etc. like that. So I just been putting videos every week. Every Saturday they've been going up from last October till almost October again. So
Wow.
yeah,
What do you think?
yeah,
Because you've lost a lot of weight, and I guess you've pretty consistently kept it off and consistently continued to lose weight. What do you think has been the biggest, um, I guess, thing that you've learned or implemented that has helped you to continue to be able to lose weight and not backslide, like, just go the other way and be like, I'm done. This is too much work. I'm just gonna give up
right,
on it.
right. Well, one thing is that I love the process. I feel like a lot of people, their problem is that they find a weight loss or weight gain,
Yeah.
whatever the goal is, bulking up, as a chore, as something that they don't enjoy. So if you don't enjoy something, you're not gonna stick to it. You have to have a passion. It's like bodybuilding. It's never gonna be, fun. The last couple of weeks, you're suffering. You're not having fun. It sucks. But why are you doing it? Well, because you enjoy and you have a passion for the sport. It's the same thing. That a combination of that with, and this is the biggest thing I believe, is eating foods that you enjoy and that you love, that you actually you find whatever you enjoy and find a way to kind of fit it into your calories, which is why I feel like flexible dieting, or slash you fit your macros kind of style of going, or flexible dieting is a term, is the best, in my opinion, the best sustainable way of losing weight or just getting to your goals, because you're not restricted to eating only certain foods at a certain time. And you can only do that for so long. You can't do that forever, not the average person. At least you're not mentally strong enough to do that forever. And in
Yeah.
my opinion, losing weight and dieting should be a lifestyle, not a temporary thing, because that's why people in like the Biggest Loser, they lose a lot of weight, but then they gain it all back because they went on this crash BS diet that they hated what they were eating. They lost a lot of weight, but they gained it all back. So in my opinion, that's just a waste of time. You want to keep it off. So I just found foods that I enjoy. Like I really enjoy pizza, burgers, donuts. Just find ways to make it healthier. Just find different ingredients that are going to be like fat free, sugar free, different stuff here and there. You can still make everything at home instead of going out to get it. And you still, obviously it's not the same, but you still get that satisfaction of you know fullness, or you enjoy what you're still eating and stuff. Just it's kind of finding ways to kind of implementing stuff into your diet that liking what you eat. I feel like that's the most important thing. Just like what you eat, enjoy it, and just don't hate your meals, because if you do, you're gonna binge afterward because you hate it.
Yeah. And then
You
I
don't like.
think I think too, it sounds like throughout your whole process, you haven't gone in like, okay, I'm gonna be eating chicken and broccoli for the next, year until I lose all this weight. It's like
It
I
sounds terrible.
was, yeah, I mean, you always want to, like, you started off, like you said, eating 350 grams of carbs, and now you're eating obviously like 70.
Mm.
But if you were to, try to start off at eating 70 grams of carbs right in the beginning,
Oh yeah,
where you gonna go from there? Like, you
you can't.
got to, I always tell people, you want to be able to eat the most possible and do the least amount of activity possible and
Yeah,
still achieve the amount of weight loss that you want. And then as you lose weight, you got to keep dropping and dropping and raising cardio up. But
yep,
if you basically throw everything in all at the beginning, where you gonna go from there? Like, you're gonna be stuck. You're gonna ruin your metabolism and all that stuff. So one thing I wanted to point out is, so when I started my weight loss journey, I actually lost about 80 pounds initially without ever doing any cardio.
oh
I
wow,
Yeah, I literally just got into the gym and I started doing weights. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like 3 days a week, and then I bumped it up to like 4, and then after a while I was going like basically 7 days a week. But I literally just did weights with my dad. We did it together, and I lost about 80 pounds. And then once I decided to compete, then I ended up having to throw in cardio to get off the last amount. But
Right.
looking back at your weight loss journey, I guess, would you tell yourself in the beginning to start with weights versus cardio, or are you kind of pleased with the way that everything went?
Yeah, I definitely, if I would have had a better insight or more
Yeah.
knowledge, yeah, for sure. Because I didn't, I mean, I just did basically, I only did the insanity because it looked cool. I
Yep.
mean, I started exercise with zero knowledge, zero interest, zero everything. Just a kid going into a new world, not knowing what to expect or what to do. Just kind of, that's why I did video, home video, because all you have to do is just look at the person. I mean, that's pretty
Yeah.
easy. And
Yeah.
kind of attempt to try to do their exercise that you're seeing on the TV. So yeah, if I would have done it correctly, if I now with the mentality and the knowledge I have now, for sure, way as far as building muscle, it's cool.
Oop, you're pausing out a little bit.
You don't need it because you did it without it. Um, as far as like losing weight and stuff, but yeah, I would definitely would have started with weights if I knew better and if I would have, just had a choice back then. So
Yeah, it's kind of like too, if you can build the muscle in the beginning, then once you start implementing the cardio and stuff like that, your metabolism is just better. You already have that muscle mass, so you're burning more calories throughout the day, you're stronger, and then you can actually, you know, lose that weight in a more healthy manner, and you're more likely to keep it off as well. But I think
right.
you'll be all good because you're like, you know, really focusing now on building muscle mass, and you got a good amount of mass on your body. So take a
Yeah,
good couple years off, and
yeah, man,
you'll
I'm
be a
excited.
force to be reckoned with.
I'm excited to eat. I've never had a proper off season because I've been fat all my life, so I've
Yeah.
never like, properly, I guess, had a good off season where I'm focusing on muscle growth, maybe like a lean bulk, eating normal calories that a male should be eating, you know. So I'm excited for that to see how that will kind of transform my body, up until my next dieting phase for a show. Because I definitely would want to do another one. I just, obviously need to get bigger,
Yeah.
not in a bad way,
Yeah.
not with
Yeah.
fat, but with muscle and stuff. So
So, what are your competition plans this year? Just the OCB Viking,
yeah,
or
yeah, that's just the Viking.
okay?
Um, I just want to do that one. I'm very I always, and maybe this is a mistake I'm making because it is my first one.
Hmm.
Um, I like to focus one thing at a time, and I feel like if I do multiple shows, it'll take my focus, and maybe I'm wrong. From like just like a show, like one show. But I learned that you should try to get as much stage time as possible, and stuff. So that's why I was originally gonna just do like one class, but I'm like I should probably just do more than just one and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm just doing this one, just because I really just wanted to focus on one. But that was just personal preference. Also, I found out that it's expensive. I didn't know that, so I
Oh
started
my God, you should see the amount of money I'm spending this year.
because because Brian was the coach. He was trying to doing like two different shows. I'm like, it'd be cool, but I gotta. It's not free.
Yeah.
If it was free, I definitely want to do 5 shows.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's fun, but you gotta pay for it. You gotta pay to play, right?
Yeah. Pay to
So,
play.
so that's another thing. It's expensive. That's another reason why I'm only doing one because I'm not that I'm struggling financially, but I have another goal financially that I'm trying to
Yeah.
uh, pay off a good amount of money. So I don't, if ideally I don't want to spend too much on competition. If
So
at least this year.
yeah, I guess I'm kind of weird where I am like super cheap
Hmm.
except for education or bodybuilding. So
Hmm.
I only spend money on like education and bodybuilding pretty much. And then like everywhere else in life, I'll be like, that's too expensive. I'll pass. So
Yeah.
this and that.
I mean,
So
maybe it's because you've done a couple shows already. Like you've been doing this
I
for.
just, yeah, I mean, I know I love like I absolutely love going up on stage,
Yeah.
and I am like I enjoy the process, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of strain on others as well. Like this time around hasn't been bad at all, but I just know that it's a lot of work. So
Yeah.
getting this lean, I want to, get a lot of opportunities. So I'm actually going to be doing 4 shows this October, but you got the travel. I'm going to be traveling to Omaha next week, and then Duluth, and then
Mm.
at the end of the month I'm going to be going way out to Kansas City, Missouri.
Is that after the Viking?
Yeah, the week after the Viking. It's going to be depending,
Jesus.
I
This
guess
man. Oh.
the goal is to get onto the IPE World stage, but I would have to win my pro card at
Right.
one of the shows here. So if not IPE, it'll be the NANBF Amateur Natural or
Yeah.
Nationals. So
I didn't know you could go pro as a natural.
yeah,
Interesting. Huh.
yeah, you
Is there
got
more potential as far as a career in bodybuilding as a natural pro, in your opinion?
not really. I don't think.
No.
The only the only thing is like people say you're a coach, right?
Mm.
And I kind of don't like that it's this way, but if you win like a bodybuilding title, IP Worlds or something like that, I think you're going to be a lot more likely to be able to get clients because they're like, oh my God, this guy's a pro. He must know what he's doing.
True.
Whereas, yes, it could be true, but a lot of the times I think it's genetics and things like that. It's kind of like that meme where you have the girl with like the nice butt and she gets like 1 million followers, and
Mhm.
then you have like this guy with a PhD and like exercise physiology or something, and he gets like 10 likes.
Guy that actually knows what he's doing.
Yeah, like the guy that actually knows what he's doing. I think
That's so funny. But
I
yeah, so
think
true.
yeah. I think really when you're seeking out like a coach, you shouldn't necessarily look at what their body looks like. You
I
should
agree.
look at like their knowledge, but it's kind of hard because what gets the most likes on social media, it's when you post like a good pic of your body. So it's kind of hard. You can write up like these really informational posts and you get like a couple people that like it, but then you post up something about like that looks like crazy with your body or something, then you get like all the likes.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily like they're not really I don't know, they're just not looking at like the knowledge that the person has. But
Yeah.
so I kind of try, I mean, that's why that's one of the reasons why I like these podcasts is you can convey like the knowledge that you have. You don't have to show off your body, this and that, but also like getting guests on. And the reason I started this is I wanted to get people on the podcast that knew more than me so I could learn from them.
Mm.
And also like get more information out there and share
Right.
it to people around my little niche basically. So
Yeah.
yeah. Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
Um. As far as like,
Yeah, and as far as like your story or like how you've been feeling, this and that.
um, definitely interesting as far as more contest prep now.
Yeah,
My first time ever. I don't remember the last time I was below 200 pounds, so this is kind of cool to see. You know, I'd say probably when I was 12, to be honest. It's probably when I was below like 200. Because I was
wow.
like 15, I was already way over 200. I was like 260. So I was at my peak at like 15 years old as far
Yep.
as my weight. So it's kind of cool because I have a picture of like my school year here, and I kind of see like it's like the school years how like the body has
Oh,
been.
they're all you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
you
all
can
me.
see your
So
face, the chub face.
yeah, yeah. So it says my school years, and it's a picture from like the first one, um, kindergarten up
Yeah.
until senior year of high school. And you kind of start to see, that the transition of like the slimming down a little bit. So that's kind of cool to kind of see that. But yeah, man, just the side effects is probably the biggest thing. I've never experienced or done something so hard in my life psychologically
Yeah.
uh, than contest prep. So I always, luckily, I kind of I always like to learn, so I kind of started doing some research on my own, saying like what to expect, how not to rebound, side effects and stuff that will come with, how to stay strong, motivated, and stuff prior to getting to like the last stages. So I had a good idea of what maybe was coming, the hunger, fatigued, all that stuff. But that's probably been the hardest thing that I've ever done, probably, just going through contest prep mentally. Because anybody, I mean, for me, exercise is easy. I can do that, no problem. I enjoy it. It's not a big deal. But just the mental, daily struggle of being hungry and not being able to eat and still having a regular life. Like you still have to talk to people, you still have a job. Just because you're on contest prep doesn't mean that your outside life stops. So I feel like that's probably the toughest thing that I've had to learn and how to deal with is kind of finding a balance of, I'm suffering, but it doesn't mean that I'm gonna not talk to my clients or say, okay, screw off for the next 3 weeks. I
Yeah.
can't do that. So.
And I think a big thing too is not, still going out and doing social things to the
Oh yeah.
best of your ability and stuff like that, so that you don't become like this guy that only does contest prep, every day of the year. And then as soon as your show's over, you're like, oh, now, like, oh man,
Now
like,
what?
what do I do now?
Right. I feel like actually, I honestly feel like a lot of pro high level bodybuilders are probably at that state.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, but I don't know if I should blame them because it is their life. Like, it's their job. They're getting paid for it.
Well,
So I don't know.
I don't know if you look at I feel like if you look at the IFBB side or the enhanced side, it's more so like that. But a lot of the top like natural bodybuilders out there, they actually really have a good like bodybuilding to work to family life like balance, if you will. They balance it all really well, and they're not like super stressed about competition and all this stuff. I listened to a podcast with Sam Oklanola, Jeff Alberts, and a couple other guys, and they're kind of like, well, yeah, like I know Sam was like, yeah, I could only train like an hour like 4 or 5 times a week because otherwise I wouldn't have any time to spend with my family and this and that. And he's like, he won one of the best shows in the world, so it's like they have their like work life balance. And obviously the past week or two for me has been pretty busy with bodybuilding. I've been pretty consumed with it. It's been kind of hard to get everything done because like you have your bodybuilding, you have your cardio, you have your posing, then you have your just getting everything ready, and then you have work, and it's like there's no extra time in the day. And then also like towards the end you have less and less energy, it seems like.
Right.
So it gets
Yeah.
harder and harder. But if I would say the biggest thing that I am kind of looking at and would pass on to others is just know that if you are competing in bodybuilding, know that whatever you're going to look like on stage is not going to be what you're going to look like forever.
Oh yeah.
Okay? Know that a lot of the people on social media that you see that look super shredded all year are, either they're taking photos all like in the same kind of month and then posting them throughout the year, or they are just like genetically elite and they can just stay there all the time. Or who knows, they could just be miserable in their life and they stay lean, but they're miserable because of it.
Right.
And also like look at strength goals in in your off season.
Mm-hmm.
So like I was kind of just thinking yesterday, I was like, oh man, these are the numbers that I want to get my bench up to. This is what I want my squat to be, and this is what I want my deadlift to be. And before I kind of do my contest prep again, because I remember I said in like 2016 when I first or my last bodybuilding show that I did, I was like, I'm not going to compete again until I get a 600-pound deadlift. And then I was like, oh, I'm sorry, 500-pound deadlift. So like a five plates plus a 2.5 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And like sometime last year I pulled like a 500 for a double, and I was like, well, there's my goal. But just having strength goals in the off season, because obviously your training's going to be a lot better in the off season. You're going to be stronger. And so as soon as you are done with your contest prep, hopefully you can have some things like, okay, cool. Like, I just got through this contest prep. Now I'm going to focus on school, or I'm going to focus on work, or I'm going to focus on getting stronger, things
Yeah.
like that. So have things set up beforehand that you are like, oh man, I can't wait until contest prep is done so I can start focusing on that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, the last thing I wanted to add was actually a big thing that I started researching as far as like how to avoid like the post contest like binge or the rebound, right? Because I feel like a lot of it's very common and very, for people to kind of gain a bunch of weight, like 25 pounds in 3 days, a bunch of water weight, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Because, and I feel like, and this is my personal opinion, I feel like that happens because those people that did that throughout the whole entirety of the prep, they were following a very strict, rigid broccoli, rice, and chicken kind of along the lines diet, and not more like a flexible dieting approach. Because, you know, like I said, they're, people that I feel like that binge afterwards is because, they've been doing the same meals and all that stuff for so long, and they're just craving to eat food that they want, which is obviously nothing healthy. And I feel like it allows you to really have a really bad or create bad habits, a really bad relationship with foods when you are on a meal plan like that. Like I feel like most people are. But whereas if I feel like it's very, and people maybe not think it's possible, but you can definitely get stage ready by having a flexible dieting approach. You don't have to follow a boring, basic, bland chicken, broccoli, rice, 7 meals a day, every single day, every week for up until show day. Where I feel like people think that they have to do that to get ready for show, but you don't, because you've done shows before and you're doing a bunch of shows now and you're not following a diet like that. You're still able to find a thing that works for you,
Yeah.
being consistent. I feel like the biggest thing is just being consistent. If you're gonna have a flexible dieting approach, yeah, eat like, you don't have to eat those meals, but kind of eat the same type of meals or the same meals at the same time so that your body can find some type of consistency and you don't have the weight fluctuating up and down, because that can happen with flexible dieting. If you're eating something different at a different time every single day, you're trying to diet down for a show, I found that the weight will go up and down like that. You know,
Yeah.
so that was the biggest thing, and I feel like I feel like people that follow like flexible dieting, or like at least for myself, this how I feel, because I'm getting lower in like body fat and weight. I feel like I'm not necessarily worried post show as far as like binge eating, because I'm not miserable as far as what I'm eating. I'm miserable because I'm not eating a lot. That's the only reason. All I have
Yeah.
to
You
change
don't
is
have enough
you
calories.
just eat more. It's not
Yeah.
that I eat my meals. I just am not eating enough. That's the only thing. So I'm like, okay, well, just post show, I'm just gonna eat more of what I'm eating. So it's not like, oh my god, I can't wait to eat pizza, fries. Like, oh, I'm craving it. Like I don't have those cravings of unhealthy stuff, you know, which is good. I feel like
Yeah.
it's very good. It's gonna allow me to not gain like 25 pounds in 3 days.
One of the this might sound a little bit weird, but I did a little I've done a lot of research on the hyperpalatability of food. So like the hedonic scale of palatability.
Yeah.
So it's basically the idea that if you eat something that you really, really enjoy that tastes super good, so most likely if it tastes really good, it's going to have a lot of fats and a lot of like salts, right? So if you eat something like that, you're going to want to eat more of that afterwards, right? So what I've actually done this whole contest prep is really kept my foods very, very basic. Like I haven't used a lot of sugar-free like sauces. I haven't used excessive amounts of like any sauce or seasonings or anything like that. I've just kind of ate my meals. They've tasted like okay, but then like as soon as the meal is done, it's like, okay, well, the meal is done. I'm not like craving more food because that meal wasn't like super tasty. Um, and then also just kind of embracing the hunger a little bit. So flip your mindset a little bit to, oh man, I'm hungry today. That must mean that I'm like losing body fat. And also not trying to like eat, whole heads of lettuce or all this volume where you're making like protein fluff ice creams and all this stuff with xanthan gum, and you fill up a blender with protein and xanthan gum and ice, and you can blend that, but then you're like, your digestion goes to crap. And
Yeah.
honestly, to an extent, as you get leaner, you're going to be hungry no matter what you do. So just
Right.
kind of embrace it. One of
Yeah.
the biggest tips that I really enjoy is trying to spend as little time as you can in the kitchen. So, like for peak week, what I did was I prepared all my meals for literally every day from, or every meal from, except for my last meal. I kind of whipped that up in like 5 minutes at night. But I prepared every meal from Sunday to Thursday up until my like carb up on Friday. And
Mhm.
I just literally grab the meals, throw them in the microwave, or I just eat them cold, and it's like 2 seconds, and then I'm out of the kitchen. Or if I'm at work, I just grab the food, eat it, and then I'm done with that. I'm on to the day. So
Yeah.
making food, you just kind of like forget about good tasting foods for a little while in contest prep. I think that's been helping me quite a bit,
Mm.
and not trying to like, oh my God, I'm going to have like a whole head of cabbage tonight and fill myself up.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Kind of interesting, but it's actually been helping me quite a bit. I haven't chewed any gum this whole contest prep. I've kept, kept calorie free, like drinks to a minimum. I don't really do much diet pop. Stuff like that. That just helps me. I find that the more of that I do, the more that I want to eat it. But I
Yeah.
still obviously enjoy a lot of the foods that I eat. It's just not like I'm not like trying to fit in, I guess, like regular ice cream into my diet,
Right.
and
Yeah.
then I can
Yeah.
only have like 2 tablespoons of ice cream because the calories are so dense. But
Yeah.
I always say, if I have if I have jasmine rice, I won't eat jasmine rice unless I can have 100 grams of carbohydrates from jasmine rice, because I know
So,
that I don't like to eat less than that, basically.
oh, it's so good.
Yeah, yeah.
Just the rice itself, like just just jasmine, like just the texture and of it,
And
just
like, yeah, like jasmine and salt, that's all you need.
yeah, dude. Actually, the one thing I wanted to mention, like the last thing is because you mentioned like sugar-free diet pop, like artificial stuff.
Yeah.
This is my first kind of prep, and obviously I'm learning with the rolls and punches. So obviously when I started to get hungry, probably under 4 weeks is when you really started to feel it. At least for me, I started to
Yep.
get more hungry. I was trying to make it easier or cheat by consuming a lot of 0-calorie stuff.
Okay.
So I would drink like a liter of like uh, 0-calorie carbonated water or carbonated drinks, a lot of sugar-free Jello, a lot of stuff that had 0
Oh,
calories
yeah,
content.
yeah.
And it actually wasn't affecting me. I was still able to drop weight up
Yeah.
until a certain point. I was hitting my macros, but I was still eating. I was consuming so many artificial sweeteners that had, and I'm like, 0 calories, zero problem, right? I had that mentality. So I'm like, all right, a lot of sugar-free Jello, a lot of diet pop. The more the better, because it's keeping me full. It's giving me that sense of that sweet tooth, and I just plateaued. I couldn't drop the weight, and I'm like, why?
Really?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
plateaued, and I was confused because I was hitting my macros, but the problem was, and I literally typed it on YouTube, and I found this channel I should call the Diet Doc, and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
on a series of fat loss basics, and one of them was artificial sweeteners. And for some people, not for all, but for some, it is very possible that in the last stages of prep, if you're consuming a lot of artificial sweeteners, you'll be doing it for a while, which I was, and you just cut it out, you'll drop a lot of weight. So I'm like, well, I've been consuming a lot of artificial sweeteners this whole time, and I plateaued, so I'm gonna just experiment. So I cut it all out. What I dropped 4 pounds overnight.
Really?
Oh yeah, yep. And obviously those 0-calorie things are great to put in the diet outside of contest prep, but like the last stages, those things actually, in my opinion, they do matter. Even though it says zero, if it's too good to be true, it's too good to be true. Like there's some calories in there,
Yep.
unless it's water and it has no flavor. Then yeah, but if it has flavor and it's sweet, there's some calories. There's hidden
Yeah.
calories. So yeah, I cut out all the artificial sweeteners out from my diet, and I've been able to drop consistently now, just sticking to just whole meals. I had a lot of if it fits your macros kind of mentality going into this, with like try to fit in, like you were saying, like an ice cream, I would try to fit in like certain things. I was like, I'm gonna make this prep easy, and it was working up until like 4 weeks out, and I'm like, okay, I can't be eating any artificial stuff. I need to eat just whole foods and just track that and nothing else.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I plateaued for a while because of that, because I wasn't sure what was going on. I was like, what's going on here? I was
Wow.
confused.
That is interesting, and they might have just been like affecting you as well, but
Yeah.
bloating, making you bloated and stuff like that as well. And
Yeah, the
or
gelatin,
or
the gelatin.
two, maybe they were affecting your digestion, so you had, kind of like a blockage going, and then after you got those out, you kind of flushed it out and
Yep.
dropped
I'm
that
good.
weight. But yeah.
I'm good.
So why don't we wrap it up there, my
Yep.
man? Go ahead, and I'll try to share like your Instagram and Facebook, social medias and things like that. So Instagram, YouTube. But go ahead and plug like your names on there as well, and then yeah,
Yeah.
we'll sign off there.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so yeah, my YouTube is just Erick Gadea. My full name is Erick, and then
Okay.
Gadea. That's my YouTube full name, and then Instagram is the same thing, Erick Gadea _ just together. Basically, the two biggest platforms I use, Instagram and YouTube. So yeah, check me out. Put Instagram every other day typically, post, and then YouTube videos every Saturday dropping at 10 a.m.
All right, awesome. Well, you keep prepping, keep getting better so you can bring some competition.
Will do. I'm excited, man. First
Yeah.
time learning, just doing what I can.
See, Eric and I, after we get off of this podcast, we're just gonna be like ouch enemies and battling
Exactly.
it out, right?
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
What do they? You know what they say? Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
Exposure. Exactly.
Yeah,
That's what really matters.
yeah.
So,
Hopefully we have a pretty decent lineup on there. I like to. It's fun if you can get a good amount of people that you go up against and stuff like that. So
yeah, it'll be
should
fun.
be
Just have
fun.
fun with it, see what happens, and not first one, but not the last one. So
Yeah, for sure. All right, everybody. Thank you all for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed the episodes. Let me know if you guys want to see anything else in the future. Hopefully we'll have Eric back on to discuss another topic in the future. But for now, we'll be signing off there. Hope you have a great rest of your day.